Can you imagine what secrets your family may be hiding from you? Gerald was a devout Christian, devoted to God, to worship, to ministry, the whole shebang. Throughout school, he rose through the ranks, served as a deacon, was even serving in the lifestyle ministries at a point. He was devoted to God in a very special way. However, he came from a very rich family, like stupidly wealthy. His father was into oil and energy. Large company, was supplying all sorts of countries, was supplying the whole nation, had influence with government. Everyone knew who his father was. But Gerald didn't want that for his life. He was really devoted to ministry, God's message, and serving an NGO he had created that fed the needy. His brother, on the other hand, Lloyd, was his complete opposite. He was a hardcore businessman, and he was his father's right-hand man. Now, Lloyd was an atheist. He didn't care about God, he didn't care about religion. He cared about money, business, and ensuring that his father's company kept growing. So within the company, Lloyd and their father were the head honchos, and they built the business from the ground up to great prosperity. Gerald was completely separate, involved in a lot of things with the church, and he would always tell his father that, you know what, you guys do the business and I'll do God's business. Now, his father wasn't always amused. He really felt that Gerald should be much like Lloyd and participate in the family business, because at the same time, it pays your bills, it's funded your lifestyle. But every time he would come to Gerald and say, look, I want you to join the family business, I want you to take parts, to contribute, Gerald would say, look, it's not my portion. I will join if God prompts me to do so. Until then, I will stay in my lane, in my corner. But it came to a point where Lloyd fell sick, and he fell really, really sick. And their father begged Gerald. He said, look, your brother is sick. He cannot handle the day-to-day tasks. He cannot do the management meetings. I need you to step in. Even if it's for just a short moment, please step in, take over for him, and then you can go back to your things. The pressure was a lot. And you know what? Gerald was like, okay, it's for a short amount of time. My father needs me. My brother is not capable of doing it. Let me step in. And he did. He worked with his father. His father taught him the ropes. He started to understand the company, and he started to notice how things worked. He was a very quick learner and was able to do a lot. Everything was going well. Strangely enough, he realized that the company was split into two different sections, two different wings. The first wing, which is where Gerald was currently heading and doing all the operations on it, he had the accounts. His father and Lloyd also had access to that. That's where the day-to-day running of the business was happening. The second wing, let's call it the West Wing, he didn't know what they did on that side of the company. He didn't know what was going on. He didn't have access to the accounts, the information. So he asked his father, and he was like, oh, Dad, like, I'm on this side, but I know that there's a second part. What's going on there? What do we do on that side? His father was like, that's none of your business. It's not your problem. It's not your concern. I brought you in for you to manage the side that you're on, and let's go ahead and do that. But you see, Gerald is an inquisitive gentleman. He was like, that's all well and dandy. However, I want to know. So he started snooping, trying to find out, trying to look around. He asked a few employees. He tried to look into the accounts, some of the information. He couldn't find anything. He said, nah. Now it's a little suspicious, but he was going to follow the money. He managed to get access, with the help of an IT specialist, to the accounts. And as he was looking through the accounts, he realized that, wait, money that's coming in from international companies, international organizations, it cannot be traced. We don't know where it's coming from. The prices are completely inflated. It's a little suspicious. So Gerald said, look, he's going to use the same IT specialist to get access to his father's personal laptop so that he would see everything that his father is doing and find out a little more. And he managed to do exactly that. So Gerald gets access to his father's personal laptop, all his information, details from his personal assistant, and starts to snoop, starts to track. He sees a couple of messages, a few emails talking about, we have a meeting in Geneva. We're meeting the Big 12. The Big 12? Gerald's like, what is happening? Why are you going to Geneva? What's happening with the Big 12? Who are they? So Gerald went through, realized that his father had a private flight scheduled for later that week. He decided, okay, he's going to book his own flight, fly a commercial plane. He's going to get to the same place. His father won't see him coming. He'll stay at a location close to his father's hotel and try to follow his movements. Of course, he had access to all the laptop's information, so he was just gonna see how it goes. Hold up, wait, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Now let's go back to the show. They arrive in Geneva. Gerald notices that they're going to have an event at some chateau, a castle of some sort, and that is very secluded, very high profile, but he notices his way in, the catering company. So he gets to the location, announces that he's part of the catering company, and slides in. He uses the opportunity to roam. He's roaming through the building. He sees a meeting room. He takes a quick peek, sees a few people sitting down, but what he notices surprises him. His father is there with several other big-time men, dignitaries from other countries, politicians, high-ranking individuals. He goes, wait, I know we do business with countries, I know we do businesses with organizations, but to have a sit-down meeting with presidents, world leaders, what's going on? As he continues roaming around, he peers out the window into the courtyard. Gerald sees a truck, several men loading huge bags into a truck. He has no clue what's going on, so he opens the window, trying to figure out what it is, and he hears people shouting, screaming. Those bags contain people, and clearly African, because from what he could hear, some were shouting in Yoruba, some in Shona, some in languages he himself didn't understand. In that moment, Gerald realized that his father was some way, somehow part of a trafficking ring. With this information, Gerald knew he had to find a way to stop it. He had to get the hell out of Dodge and find a way to dismantle this whole thing. He eventually goes back to his home country. And at this point, he knows he can't call the police because clearly there are high people involved. He can't tell the press because he might lose his life. So his first order of business is to confront his father. So one evening he walks up to his father and says, look, I know what you are doing. I know that you're part of a trafficking ring. I know this thing has to end. We have to pull the family out of it. We have to clean up the whole business. I will not let this stand. His father genuinely laughs him out of the room. He says, look, you're my son, but you have no say. This system has been in business for years, before I was born and long after you will die. This is not your business. It has funded your lifestyle. It has funded your life. It has given you the opportunity to do everything and whatever it is you wanted to do. So you will allow us to continue our business and you will sit down quietly. Gerald said absolutely not. He will not stand by it. He does not believe in it. It must end, and he will put a stop to it. Gerald also insisted on knowing what exactly was happening to these people. His father said, look, again, you are my son, but not your business. We are simply transporters. We sell to the highest bidder. What they do with a person is not our concern. Some people it's for rituals. Some people in the Middle East want slaves. Some people, they're using it for medicinal purposes, black market organ donation. Not my concern, not my business. We just move these people around. His father continued, however, I will not allow you to let this business crumble to the ground. So here are your options. Join the Brotherhood with me and your brother Lloyd, or you can choose to disappear of your own accord, or I will make you disappear. And with that, he walked out. Gerald trembled, looking as his father walked away. He had never been threatened before in his life, and from his own father, he knew he had to get the hell out of Dodge. He packed up, stepped out of town, changed countries, but he knew he did not want to let this organization continue what it was doing. He couldn't stand by. So, after changing his identity, he decided he'd work on articles, try to find ways to dismantle this project, find out who else knew what other organizations were battling this. I mean, he was a rich child. But you see, it's not as easy as it seems. So far, Gerald has been trying to publish his articles on the dark web, but every single time they get deleted, they get removed, they get banned. He currently lives under the radar. This year alone, his country has seen record high kidnappings and the government continues to do absolutely nothing. So he reached out to the Entangled Web Stories team to see if we could share his story, put the message across, and get other people more involved in what's happening. Now that's an entangled web. And that's all I've got for you guys today. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow us on our YouTube platform at Entangled Web Stories. And I'll catch you every single Saturday for a new video.